Hello and welcome to the United Stand, out of the dark and into the light. What a night it was for those Manchester United fans who stayed up and watched the game v Barcelona. Massive 2 weeks ahead for Manchester United in relation to transfer news. I'm not going to start chucking out names like Forsberg and Perisic and Matic. I do believe that the two bits of business will be Matic and Perisic, and they bring on their own thoughts. But yes, we'll be back from the tour, Norway on Sunday, but effectively back in Europe, and I think it's going to be massive for Manchester United over these next 2 weeks and what we do. But instead of just giving my opinion, which I gave on the match reaction, I've been asked by so many people, Mark, you consistently back Jose Mourinho and it's never his fault, he's the right man for manager for Manchester United, but you never ever give the other side the frustrations that some United fans have with him. And it is a fan channel, and you're right, so I've had a look at some of the comments and I'm going to go through them. So effectively some of them centre around the performances of Manchester United on the tour. Can you take a lot into them? The results ultimately don't matter, but I mean, there's a great comment I've jotted down here that Manchester City stuffed Real Madrid 4-1 last night in front of 90,000 fans in LA. Manchester United struggled last night to effectively beat Barcelona, and we've not performed very well on this tour at all. So the reality is that, does that matter? Is that arrogance of a big club to say, oh, it doesn't really matter, you know, the fans will turn up in America every year we're there? Or like 2 years ago under Van Gaal, we didn't perform very well in the Premier League when it started, but on the tour we were running a lot of games and we played a lot of good football. Can you just keep going on tour like that, playing that way of football, and expecting fans to want to support Manchester United? I don't know. I don't know the demographic of fans outside of the UK. I think we've got a great global support. I would expect that to continue to grow. But if Manchester City are beating Real Madrid 4-1 and entertaining them 90,000 fans, it's inevitable that there will be soft spots generated for Manchester City, and that goes hand in hand with their style of football and the sort of players they're bringing into their club this summer. I mean, they're still missing a couple of players who aren't part of that squad at the moment. So, and I don't know how Real Madrid lined up. They're obviously missing Ronaldo, but ultimately the performance, the score, the results maybe doesn't matter, but the entertainment does. And I think, again, I was asked to comment on Jose Mourinho's comments, and after the game, happy with the performance, very happy with the result. Apparently it's good to lose. It grounds you after other good results, and I don't know, his effective words were, there were some good points from the game last night and there were some bad points. Defensively we were brilliant in the second half, in the first half not so much so. Well, I don't know. I think this is maybe it's a mindset with the Mourinho mindset. There's a good Twitter account called that actually, that if you're asking me what I thought about that second half and that game, I thought the first half obviously we were up against Messi and Neymar and Suarez, and in the second half we were up against Barcelona's reserves. So I would expect us to defend better, but the reality is we attacked worse in the second half than we did in the first half. And if he's saying that's a good performance, we saw it a lot last season as well. Is his expectations and what he wants from Manchester United very different to what Manchester United fans want themselves? I thought the performance was genuinely quite shocking in the second half. It was very boring, it was very slow, and it was against the Barcelona reserve side. But if he's taken that as a positive performance, then yet again, within that positive performance, who came on? Fellaini. I've been quite consistent, I'll say it again. I'm not going to mention Lingard, although I think he sort of is in the same category, but if we are going to play Fellaini consistently yet again like we did last season, and there's no reason not to think we won't, we're battling for fourth. It's the bottom line. It's a reality. It really is. We can't. It's the lack of creativity in the midfield when he plays. It becomes redundant, becomes very boring, it becomes very predictable, and we just starve our attackers of football. But I've said this all before. In relation to transfer news, Mourinho needs to take control of it now. I know he's dropped a few hints that he's not been backed in the transfer market. They need to be firmer than hints, or he needs to sort it out. There's 2 weeks left. I'm sure we've been negotiating for players. We're back from the US tour now. He must. Look, I back Mourinho. I'm going back into back Mourinho mode, but I do take on board a lot of what people are saying, that if he's saying that he's happy to lose and he's happy with the performances, then it's not good enough. It isn't good enough, and I would hope that he's playing tactical games. But if you look at Mourinho and the way he plays, maybe he's happy with the way he plays. Maybe we are never going to get what we want. I think the problem with Manchester United in general, and it's been like this since before Christmas, we played good football between around October and Christmas time last year, but we didn't put the ball in the back of the net. From Christmas to now, even in the pre-season games, we're playing dull football, and that's been pretty consistent. When you look at Spurs, when you look at Chelsea, when you look at Man City, when you look at other clubs, even Liverpool, when they don't get defended against, they have an identity and they have a good, you know, they entertain their fans. We're not entertaining our fans consistently enough, and he will never be able to do that with a slow monster midfield, with a physical bully demanding midfield. I agree, and I said it last night, I think Twansibi, Fosu-Mensah could have played last night in the midfield instead of Fellaini, but he decided to pick him. It's an obsession that needs to end, and I don't think it will end with the signing of Matic anyway. But at least if we sign Matic, and I'm not Matic's biggest fan, at least he can actually pass the ball. At least he's a little bit quicker in moving the ball from the midfield to the defence, to the attack. And that's ultimately the big problem now. And I'm sort of moved past about, yeah, I don't want Matic. Probably really don't want Eric Dyer either. But I certainly don't want Fellaini in that position like he was last night. We need to get a midfielder in who has the ability to move the ball quickly from the defence to the attack, because our attackers are being starved. He's got 2 weeks to sort this transfer business out. You can't just sit back and say it's not my responsibility, I gave a list. What if these players are the first players on his list? What if Matic and Perisic are the first players on his list and it's taking time because he wants them? Well, that's down to him. I think he needs to become more active in this transfer window and stop hiding behind, oh, I don't want to get involved in transfers, because it's a bit of a disaster at the moment. But the next 2 weeks will be key, and I think we're going to see some movement. I expect it to be Matic and Perisic, and if that's the case, that's the case. But in summary, in relation to Mourinho, I back him. It's hard to sort of go against him, but I do agree that when he comes out with comments like the performance was good in the second half, we were doing a watch along. We lost thousands of viewers in the second half because people saw Fellaini come on, they gave it 5 minutes, the performance went down the toilet, and they gave up because they want to go and get some sleep. And that's Manchester United fans doing that. So, and then to come out and say I'm happy with the second half performance, I wonder what game he watches, because we're all abundantly aware that the first half was Barcelona's best players and the second half was their B team, and we still really didn't create anything. So it wasn't a good performance at all. But in relation to transfers, that's where United need to step up to the plate. This is where Mourinho needs to get involved. Stop hiding behind, oh, I gave a list, this, that and the other. You've got 2 weeks left. You can't hide behind a list that you gave to, you know, for the whole season. There's time to turn this around. Get involved. Sort it out. That's what you paid to be Manchester United manager for. And that's one thing I would say against him. And also, go back to playing that entertaining football. You've got the people who can put the ball in the back of the net now. Go back and play entertaining football. And also, again, he's hinted that we're going to get Zlatan, which to me is just a step backwards. An old player, a relic, a good player, fantastic player, but a relic, a signing that's got no future in it or longevity. We're just a short-term signing again. And you look at what everybody else is doing, and that most of their signings are not over 30 years of age. In fact, I don't think any of City's are. I don't think any of Chelsea's are. Yet we're looking at, oh yeah, when he's fit, if he comes back from a major knee injury in November, we're going to put all our hopes on Zlatan at 36, coming back from a major injury. That's, again, it's an Everton sort of signing. It's not the sort of signing Manchester United should be making. It's going to be interesting the next 2 weeks. Thanks everyone for watching, and back tonight, it's your show tonight, 8 o'clock, Skype in and have your say. Really looking forward to that. Thanks for watching, and get comments in below, give us your thoughts. I still back Mourinho, but I suppose the point of this question this morning is 2 weeks to sort the transfer window out, and what sort of culpability do you think that Mourinho has? Any? None? Should he get the blame for consistently picking Fellaini and the poor performances and coming out with things after the game saying, I'm happy with it, I'm happy we lost, it brings us back down to earth after really good results? Again, I don't know what games he's been watching. We haven't actually played well on the tour at all. Give us your thoughts. I find it hard to sort of go against Mourinho because I like him so much, but a lot of people sort of are saying he has to have some blame. You can't just blame Fellaini, he doesn't pick himself, which in honesty, I thank you for that, because you're right. Thanks for watching, I'll speak to you all soon.